Hi everyone, welcome to Square Cycle, a community of strategic minds for startup and scale-up people. Here we bring together founders, board leaders and investors to share how they grow, lead and evolve their businesses. Hosted by Mario Rivas and Tiffany. Let's get started. Hi everyone, welcome to Square Cycle, a podcast for strategic minds. My name is Mario Rivas, CEO and business advisor across sectors. That's my background. And here we are with
Tiffany Chown here. I'm a HR executive, board advisor and a lifelong learner.
Thank you, Tiffany. Well, I will introduce the guest today, and I'm delighted to introduce Simona. She's the managing director at IWConnect Netherlands, leading business growth, client engagement, and digital transformation initiatives across EMEA, but I think it's also around the globe. Welcome, Simona.
Thank you, Mario. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you for having me today.
It's great to have you here, Simona. And you're speaking with us from beautiful Amsterdam on an unusually sunny day, which we're very pleased to hear. You are an amazing woman in tech. And my sort of icebreaker question for you is, when you began your career, did you imagine you'd be leading a region or a country of over 400 workers? And just tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, actually, it's a really good question, Tiffany. And I kind of struggle to reflect or just to see what I've achieved and basically go back. But this year, we were celebrating 5 years of existence of IWConnect Netherlands. So I needed to do a speech. So I was kind of doing a reflection. I needed to take some time to go back and think about how I came here, how this happened. So basically, the short answer is no, I've never thought about it. However, I was always, I think, into the entrepreneurship thinking and kind of wired like that, just because right after college, or I was still in college, I think, I started initially a really small company with one of my friends, like a product that was very similar to what Fiverr is today, if you've heard of it, but very local, very kind of niche. However, it wasn't successful. Then I had another try, non-successful, then went into the consultancy world, and here we are now. Started this journey 5 years ago, and luckily this one was a success. However, I think that's the only way of succeeding, just trying and failing until that one time pays off for everything else.
But Simona, the other day I was talking with another, like a CEO who leads basically the operation at another startup, and he also, got into this role. He said, like, I'm here leading now, right? And I actually was in tech, and I was writing codes, and I was doing the software development, and now I'm actually I'm a psychologist as well, like talking with people. Resolving operational problems, talking with the CFO about the cash flow, how we're going to make it, the salaries, next year, like the clients haven't paid. They're like pushing the payments, for later. So it's a lot of, basically running the business. And you look very young, if I'm honest. And you're running a big team. You said around 400 people, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And how do you manage to pass through that, that episode? Because it was quite quick, actually. You said just 5 years. So I imagine during the last 3 years or after 2 years, you started to become more a senior or a leader in the company. How did you transition to that? How that happened?
Yeah, so previously, before, of course, managing a full company, I was leading teams, and those teams built team from scratch as well for, of course, technical teams, which were in consultancy companies, which were basically delivering at a client with many different technologies. That journey of kind of leading a team kind of shaped me in a way where this is people business. So you need to understand people, you need to work with them. And I was always a techie that wasn't really, I always thought about it like, yeah, I mean, if a technical team is strong, you don't need anything else. But actually, it's way more than that. It's to your point. On daily, you are a psychologist. You basically deal with people problems, which is a really unique place to be in, but also a very good one because you learn about people. You learn from everyone, because everyone has a different experience in life, and I found that very fulfilling. So I kind of took on it and then shaped my journey in the growth of IWConnect Netherlands. Now, to your question about, indeed, this is kind of short period, if you will, to grow. Of course, IWConnect existed before I started the IWConnect Netherlands. However, that existence was mostly working for US-based clients, and the European business, we kind of opened it up here with the office. The team really helped me because it was already existing, and we were smaller, but still the team helped me into shaping this and kind of putting it in the right direction. The first, let's say, 2 years, I was also learning by doing. I'm an expat in the Netherlands, so I'm not born here. To me, I didn't know the language, I didn't know the laws, anything. So basically, I started this very risky, if you will, and in COVID. So if everyone that I asked around me, should I do it? Everyone was, no, you're crazy, don't do it. But for whatever reason, I felt this is the right thing to do. And then I just went for it and then started learning by doing. How I did it? I basically worked for maybe 16 hours a day, almost every day for 2 years, just because that's the only way that I know. I don't know, I didn't have an assistant back then. I didn't have anyone. It was basically either you figure it out or this will be a failure again. So all of the things that I needed to do, I was doing. From, accounting, to your point. From, of course, I did have an accountant, but still working with them, understanding what certain things mean. I didn't know what is proper invoice and how taxation works and all of those things I needed to learn. And I was learning and then applying them and in my growth, first mentally and then to the team. And I think if I see Simona 5 years ago and this Simona today, we are completely two different people, very different. But yeah, I'm proud of that one then because made the decision that, okay, I'm taking this journey, and I was brave enough to take it without really having the fear that this may be one more failure and I have too much to lose. And proud of this one today because we have significant achievements and we are feeding 400 families, right? So that's what kind of wakes me up in the morning.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I love that. I mean, I think I have a comment back to your friends that said you were crazy. I think you were just brave, and what you've just captured there is a sign of that bravery that you had and that grit to get through it.
You need to have that little bit of craziness in order to take some actions.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, what is it? Courage is being afraid, but just doing it anyway. I think that's
true.
Something like that. Yeah, so just, I can feel it when you were in the thick of it, 16-hour days, just giving your all to everything. The things that I'm curious about is, how did you get support during those times to kind of help you grow? You've obviously gone through a lot of transition yourself, and was it other people? Was it education? Like, how did you transform yourself?
Yeah, so of course, a lot of self-reflection, as in learning and how I can be better every day, and reading and investing in myself. Sure, that happens today as well. I don't think that there is a point where you stop doing that. Just that doesn't exist. It's more like every day you learn something new because there are so many things in the world, and from every person you can learn. But on the other side, I did have support from the partner that I have with the company. We are a few partners. So one of the partners that had the initial IWConnect in the US supported me very much with coaching, with kind of helping me on daily basis, because I had many cycles in with this try and fail methodology, like where I will be like, okay, is this worth it? What am I doing? I cannot see the future of this. And then he was helping me kind of to come up again from the ground and think and look for the light in the tunnel with a lot of, I guess he was the psychologist for me back then, but as well keeping me sane as in why we are doing this, what are my achievements so far, how we come to that point together, and also helping me into thinking more about business rather than just technology, because I was always someone that does code, and thinking about sales and businesses is what he helped me a lot. Sometimes I was just a fly on the wall on his calls where I can just listen of how certain things he's communicating with the clients, and then I guess I kind of then learned by doing it myself afterwards.
That's a good point because we learn by doing. Well, I had a business as well for 10 years with my brothers. We have bicycle shops. It's been 10 years. I have a lot of different backgrounds. They help me to run the business. But there is a moment that you have to split from doing, and going to, okay, what is happening in the market, right? Which is the strategy, which are like the KPIs I want to reach. Good that you have basically your mentor in the US who is like, a few years ahead, already thinking, about the vision of the company because he's there, right? And how do you start this journey, or more than this, how are you managing that, splitting your time with the vision, which is the strategy, and how do you manage that in daily basis or in the governance?
Yeah, indeed. And now, as I mentioned, we are multiple partners, so we regroup once a month, basically, where we just do only strategy and discuss only strategy. And then we do have our leadership weekly, where we are also, it can be very short, just if we don't have things to discuss, but usually we do have a lot of things to discuss where we are steering the ship and where we want to be. And to your point, every one of us is researching what is there, hearing. All of us live in different places, and everyone kind of listens to what is happening in their world, and then we kind of try to shape it where we want to be with the company. Now, from time perspective, you know how it is. I don't have a working time. I don't have that. Doesn't exist when you're leading something, because if I don't do it, who will do it? It's more like a responsibility perspective that I have. So I don't have like 20% of my time I use it for strategy and 50% for this. Just maybe I'm disorganized. I'm not sure, but it's more like more fluid. Sometimes I do only strategy. Sometimes I do a lot of tactical things just because we need to be better today because of whatever. We had a situation of we need to deliver for a client very fast because they need to go to production tomorrow. There are many things of why sometimes you need to do tactical decisions, and I kind of need to make them on daily basis. But then the strategical thinking needs to be there, because at some point too many tactical decisions can steer a different direction. So what we do with the partners is basically we keep each other honest and kind of stop each other, as in if I do too many, like I resolve everything and then kind of team is blocked by making decisions, they will be like, okay, let's just now stop, reset, let's go in this direction because we are missing the point here. So it's more fluid. I wouldn't say that I have time for strategy set up, as in, okay, every Friday I do strategy. It just doesn't work like that. It's more when is the right time for strategy. I dedicate that time for it.
Yeah. It seems like you've really scaled at quite a fast pace. Is there a certain sort of methodology or thoughts that you have about where that value comes from to then make the decision, okay, we'll add another team member or we'll add another product and grow? Where does that value come from, and how do you make those decisions?
Yeah, so, actually, this is a really good question, because initially I wasn't making those decisions and I thought I can handle everything myself. To a point where, as I mentioned, 16 hours a day became like, I don't have a life, right? So at some point I needed to, okay, wait, I need to stop. I need to think how I can scale this, because this is not a company. If I do everything myself, this is not a company. It's a Simona under the umbrella of IWConnect, right? So I kind of stopped and then, okay, let's see our P&L. Let's see how things are looking and how much I can invest. And basically, I made the decisions based on, of course, how I can scale the company, how I can scale my time. Basically, what can I kind of give it to my team so I can focus more on strategy, more on decisions, more on how we can grow the business, and also kind of made the decisions based on the financials, because I need to have something in order to invest, and that was also a good thing. Like, I started this company with no investment, pretty much. I mean, me and the partner kind of had an agreement where I am getting this something really base so we can start this, and then let's talk as in what that means. Once we had profits, then we thought we need to invest, we need to scale, we need to have an office, we need to hire more people, and those people were hired based on first, what can I give to them, as in my technical part went to one person, my admin part went to another person. Then that person scaled the team of multiple people, how we can grow it. So basically, it was kind of slow pace of growing the team. But once I kind of figured it out, okay, this works. I need a structure, because otherwise I'm just the bottleneck for everyone. Then it went unwrapping fairly fast. But the first decision, I kind of took it a little bit longer than, because of fear, because of will I have the money to source everything? You know, all of these questions that you ask yourself, and you're afraid to make a decision. Once I did the first one, then it was, the scale was I mean, the business started doing even better. And once you figure that out and learn it, again, learn by doing, then it's a completely different game.
And at the moment, you are 400, 500 people. Like a big company. Which are the key areas where you working now in your business in terms of services, and how are you looking at the market, right? And the third question is, where do you see like the new opportunities with AI, all these new changes that are happening around the world?
Yeah, so we are an IT consultancy company that was founded as an integration consultancy company. When I say integration, that means you are in the middle of the business and technology, where you are kind of the plumbing, if you will, for any enterprise, and you connect the dots for everything. Let's say you have, I don't know, HR department, very relatable to you, Tiffany. Then you have accounting, and all of these departments have different applications, right? So those applications need to communicate between themselves, and usually they are very disconnected because of whatever reason. So we are the ones that are in the middle and building all of these connections so those systems can communicate. Like, I don't know, we have a new employee in the company, and then the full employee onboarding process needs to be automated from zero to full, I don't know, payroll, onboarding, courses, and everything. So we are the ones that will kind of set up the architecture of all of these processes and build them. That was the establishment of IWConnect. However, because of integration and touching many things, like data specifically, we have grown the company into many different verticals. So data integration, 24/7 support, like we do support 24/7 applications, like managed services. Of course, testing comes as a really important piece, because of everything needs what we built and what customers built need to be tested. And that's pretty much it. Now, from business perspective, what do we see? Of course, AI indeed. But before any company jumps to the AI wave, data is the most important part, as in check how ready is your data for AI. Because if you just put AI on data that is not right, you won't get anything. You will just get messy results. For that reason, what we do nowadays with customers is we have this, we call it data readiness assessment, which we do it with customers to check their data, check how ready it is from business perspective, from technology perspective, and many different angles, and then give them a report and give them a solution how they can become ready for implementing the next piece, which can be agentic AI, Gen AI, or a traditional AI with ML or whatever that is. And then we can do that implementation afterwards for them. So, of course, back to the question, AI and data is something at the moment that we are seeing where our growth is. Data specifically, just because what we see on the market is that many companies, in order to get proper results of AI, they need to get their data ready.
I think that's such a hot topic, and I've been reading a little bit about Gartner published this trough of disillusionment when it comes to AI. So for those of us not in the tech sector, all of a sudden it's sort of this things come around that we can touch and feel, and we've got this sort of inflated expectations about what's possible. I understand that AI has actually been around for many, many years, and Simona, you've probably worked with it for many years. So where do you think that this technology is going to land, or, in the ways that you're using it? Do you think that we really are we're going to hit this trough of disillusionment that they call it, where expectations of AI and what's applicable and what's available it's not going to be met, and sort of then what happens? Or do you think that we will sort of find this place where we can have this augmented future between the ways that we work?
Yeah, so actually that is happening at the moment, that everyone is complaining that AI is not delivering what was promised, and people were expecting more, and then the models are hallucinating, they're not giving them results that they were expecting, and companies spent so much money into those things, and kind of everyone is now, wait, we need to stop. Which kind of go back to the data thing that I mentioned, first we need to fix the data, and then we need to go build anything with AI. Now, are the, let's say, models fully ready? No, it's a new technology. We are all learning. Everyone that will say to you, yeah, we are the experts, we know it, how it works A to Z, it's just not true. We are all learning, we as a company as well. It's about the research, it's about you getting your hands dirty in order to figure out how things work. But the pace that things are changing is just crazy. And we are trying to keep up with it and trying to do innovations with it. Behind the scenes, there are so many things happening, so you can get that better score of their ROI for what you are investing with it. Now, where all this will go, we will see. I don't think that no one knows. From my point of view, at some point we will need to reset. As in, I think everyone kind of flies everywhere at the moment, and at some point there must be a stop to it because it will become a little bit too risky. Or I just hope that won't happen, but there will be something really bad, produce something really bad, and that will stop us. I hope we won't get to that point, but
yeah. I mean, then you're verging into the whole quantum AI stuff as well, but we won't even go into that. I don't think we won't have enough time.
Yeah, yesterday when I went to a conference, Sifted, here in London, it was in a talk with Eric Schmidt, the ex-CEO of Google, chairman of Google, 17 years at Google, right? And it's true what you're saying, Simona. He actually mentioned it yesterday that everyone is learning now. And for AI, there are 3 stages, basically, which is like a supervised learning, reinforcement, and then self-learning. We are just in the first stage. So we haven't even passed into the second or third one. Even though he said that Ukraine is now the new Silicon Valley in terms of defense. Now they are working a lot of models in reinforcement to improve their defense system. So he said that nowadays and in the future, probably a lot of the countries are going to be learning about Ukraine, how to use AI in their defense system. And then the conversation went into how, China and the United States are working together to keep AI in the right hands, because what can happen if it's in the wrong hands, right? So yeah, it's an interesting topic. I was quite excited. Obviously, it was like a blow-minded, conversation with Eric. Coming back to Simona, right? I would like to know how now you are leading your team, how you are making your team like a high performance, with high performance, and how you are managing to keep it, working and growing and everyone motivated.
Yeah, I do believe in lead by example, and that's the only of how I know how to lead. Basically, I do what I preach, and everything that I'm telling to my team to do, and how we can grow together. I'm doing it with them, and I'm very much involved in daily activities and everything that we are trying to do now. Let's say I'm now more into growth, into sales, into helping how we can shape and grow the company. When I learn something from communication with the customer, or when we, let's say, closed or lost an opportunity, I go and do a reflection together with them. What I've learned, they kind of listen to it, and we all learn from it and apply it. So also, I don't know, we have an office, obviously here in Amsterdam, and we try to be there multiple times a week, just for us to be together, learn from each other, communicate and all that. But back to the point of learning by doing, I just believe that if I don't go, who will go to the office, right? It's more like I cannot make my team do something if I don't believe in it or I don't do it. One is the office, another one is actions, I don't know, reporting, whatever we are asking them to do. First, we do it. And you lead by example, and then they follow once they see the results. And sometimes I do give, I don't know, tasks or ideas which not necessarily are giving results, and I want to be challenged for those. And I leave my team very open in the communication, so they can come and say, you know what, this is stupid. We need to cut it. Fair enough. Let me see what we did wrong. Okay, we can change it. We can leave it. Whatever that is. Open communication, lead by example is kind of my narrative, as in from leading perspective, and that's how I do it. I give them all the freedom, and I trust until proven right and wrong. I completely trust the person when we start a conversation, and trust in their intentions and what they want to achieve, and then we'll measure if we are going in the right direction or not.
You sound like a great manager to work for, Simona, which is probably why you've been able to grow and develop such a strong team as well. You mentioned, this all sort of started for you during COVID, and a question that often comes up, and we see it go through the news cycles all the time, is fully remote workers, full-time in the office, back to sort of being the teacher and the psychologist and what it is to be a leader as opposed to a manager for your employees. Is there any sort of key things that you've discussed as a leadership group to really set that culture for your teams, given that you are in the tech space as well? And how do you navigate that conversation about office presence versus working from home?
Yeah, I did. So we had been into multiple discussions actually lately, because we kind of put that back, as in we need to go to the office multiple times. But the communication is more about the value. What are we getting from that? We've seen significant improvements in productivity, just because of it's again people business. So people are feeling that they're part of something bigger, and they're part of a team, and you're not alone somewhere and working, and really you don't have a part like of a tribe, if you will, or something that you want to achieve together with your team. We are across the globe, right? We cannot be with the same people that we work with in the office together, but at least the ones that we can, having just a lunch together sometimes can change you the day of your productivity, as in when you see what others are doing, when you challenge, when you do whiteboarding together, it can completely shape the delivery, shape the feeling of someone belonging or not belonging. So that's kind of our narrative. And of course, this is not like a set in stone and a rule. It's more like, okay, let's do it slowly. Let's do it so they can see the values of what we are seeing from productivity, from belonging, and feeling that you are part of something bigger and not just a number. sitting somewhere and delivering stuff for clients. Because our people are delivering to clients, right? We don't have, we do have small products that we have, but most of our people are based at a client. And then the belonging can be a challenging. And this going to the office together and working together and having just a lunch or, I don't know, a conversation around the coffee machine can change your thinking about the company, who you work with, and what do we innovate. You will basically learn things that we are investing in the company that you don't know about because you're focused on your daily tasks, of course.
That's true. When we started working from home, I also felt like, oh, this is great. You can do many things during the day. You can work and also you can, do some homey tasks. But in the end, because when you are leading, when you have a team, where you want this, integration, and feeling that, as you said, that you belong to something, you are building something. Is essential. It's essential in terms of efficiency, productivity, but also to build culture. That is what I think that when I've been doing this hybrid or leading teams, or I've been feeling that building the culture is the most difficult part, and bring them to the office and sharing together and like showing your type of leadership, because in the end they see you as a leader, they learn from you, then they want to be like you, right? I feel that is a very, very, very good initiative. At the moment, I do co-working and working from home a lot because I am, in a startup as well. But once we get into that point that we can invest in an office, it's going to be the first move that I'm going to do for sure.
Yeah, it's also about emotions, right? You can read people's emotions very fast when you are face-to-face rather than just a Teams call. It's completely different. Basically, next to a coffee machine, you can tell if a person is happy or not. And then also, I try to connect with the people that I work with very closely, as in, what bothers you today? Sure, if you don't feel like it today, just go home, take your time, whatever that is. So they feel that they're, taken care of. And it's not just about work. It's also about who we are and what we can achieve together. At the end, yes, the results will come if the people are motivated and really appreciate what they do.
I love that, Simona. We're getting towards the end. So I just wanted to ask you if you've got any, like on that beautiful train of thought that we're on now, do you have any sort of key words of wisdom or tips or things that have really helped you on your journey that you'd like to sort of impart that knowledge and pay it forward?
Yeah, very similar to what I said earlier. So I'm kind of self-taught leader or self-taught entrepreneur, if you will. I wasn't attending any courses or anything official, as in, I don't know, sales or leadership courses. Nowadays, a little bit more, just because I'm going back and kind of filling the holes where I was jumping into the scale. So learning by doing and try and fail is kind of my key takeaway for everyone that I talk to in anything in life. I'm not talking just about business. It's about everything. For me, it doesn't exist like this cannot be done. I just don't believe in it. To me, everything is possible if you really want it. It's just you set a priority and you set a goal. The path, you will figure it out. But the goal doesn't change. If you have it and you really like to achieve it, you'll get there. Nothing can stop you. You can give so many excuses of why not, but don't focus on those. Focus on really the achievement and the goal. And kind of what changed my mindset. I started listening and reading about Naval, if you've heard of it. So the Almanac of Naval Ravikant is a book that I would recommend for everyone to read it, which helped me in my... I'm very impatient person. I want to have things for yesterday. Everything is and you can tell the growth and everything, it was all in a short time. For one thing, that's good, but for another, you need to kind of stop and reflect. And that helped me more into my thinking and keep me honest in what I do and how I think. It's more, he's also very similar, a similar self-taught businessman in tech. and kind of all his learnings, he put it in a book, and those things helped me into my journey and how I think. So I would recommend that for everyone.
Thank you, Simona. Well, I'm going to wrap up with a lot of things. You mentioned very interesting topics, lessons, your journey, open communication, trust, leading by doing, moving from tactical into strategy and then growth, also doing sales, changing culture, with this belong to the company, improving productivity by coming to the office, and now closing with everything is possible. That's a beautiful journey. Very, very well done, Simona. I'm very glad to have you here to have this conversation. For sure, we're going to invite you in 1 or 2 years more to see where you are. We're excited to see that you're going to be 2,000 maybe people.
I hope so.
Yeah. So, thank you so much for being here. And Tiffany, would you like to say something else before we close?
Thank you, Simona, for your time. And I'm absolutely going to go out and find that book. I love a good book recommendation. So thank you for sharing that and just spending this time with us today. It's been really insightful.
Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, Mario, for having me today. I really enjoyed the conversation, and I hope you will have a really good success with the podcast, and you will grow it, and see you in 2 years, I guess.
Okay, thank you so much. Ciao.
Bye.
That's all for today's episode of Square Cycle, a community of strategic minds for startup and scale-up people. A big thank you to our guests for sharing their journey and insights. If you enjoyed this conversation, follow us on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or LinkedIn to stay connected with our upcoming episodes. I'm Mario Rivas with Tiffany Schoen. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.